So I'm finally here at SM Seaside and I thought I was going to be late. Thankfully, I am not. Apparently, on weekdays, it's supposed to be 11 a.m., not 10 a.m. So I was wrong with the schedule and I'm very glad that I was wrong because I wouldn't want to miss out during the first hour of Horti Filipina 2026. So before we go inside, I'd like to talk about the considerations and questions that I've asked myself before I purchase a plant, because last year I had a lot of learnings and realizations after purchasing plants. So I'm going to share these questions with you. So the first thing is, what is your budget? I always start with budget. I do not want to end up regretting, or I do not also want to end up spending beyond my means. So I will ask myself, how much can I afford? So I've already set budget this year. I'm not going to tell you, but last year I overspent. However, I was still in a reasonable range, but setting a budget helps you decide which plants to buy. Second is, are you willing to take a risk? So when buying plants, there's always a risk involved. There is no such thing as 100% guarantee that when you get a plant and when you have that plant, it's gonna survive. There are several things to consider. For example, a lot of the vendors here are not from the Philippines, so there are plants that might need to acclimatize in the Philippine environment. Consider as well that some of these plants have been traveling for some time and may be sensitive to harsh conditions, especially being indoor. If the next 3 days they're just going to be indoor, they don't get a lot of light, there's also that consideration. So there's no 100% guarantee. Are you willing to take the risk when you buy that plant? That means no regrets if you spent a lot in case that plant dies. So manage that expectation. So talking about expectation, what are your expectations for this event? So are you doing it because you want to resell the plant later on? Or are you doing it to propagate and sell? And why I'm asking about the expectation is, especially if you're new to plant keeping, is if you're thinking about earning money immediately, you have to lower your expectations. There might be a chance that that plant will drop down in price, or you might be disappointed because you thought it would be easy to propagate and sell this plant. So more seasoned plant sellers, though, they know exactly where to sell it. So manage your expectations. What are you trying to achieve when you are buying a plant? Now, the other thing that you want to ask is, do you have space and do you have the right environment for this plant? Some people might be so interested with a certain plant because, oh, it's a Horti Filipina, I don't think I can find this plant anywhere. It's a unicorn, it's something that you didn't expect to see, so you're going to buy it. But you have to ask yourself, do you have the space for it? Just because there are a lot of plants that you like doesn't mean you should be hoarding. Consider that the plant needs the right conditions, the right environment to thrive. And sometimes you might be ending up regretting that, oh, I got too many plants and I cannot take care of them. The next thing that you want to consider is, have you done your research? So are you expecting this plant to be high value later on? Are they going to depreciate? What are the traits that you're looking for? What are qualities of the plant that you're looking for? Are there certain genetics that you're also looking for, mutations? So don't be tempted to buy a plant just because the seller is telling you that this is going to be the next big thing, right? And there's internet. It's simple as asking ChatGPT or searching online, searching Reddit threads, and see what everyone has to say about that plant. Number 6 is, are you patient enough? If you're buying a plant, this is the question that you want to ask if you want to know if you're going to buy a mature plant or a juvenile plant. Because if you're patient enough, sometimes patience really does pay off. You buy a small plant at a lower price, like I did last year. I bought a Philodendron hastatum variegated, bought it cheap, and I'm very happy with how it is now. So that took a year. So if you're willing to wait for the plant to mature, then it's okay to buy much younger plants at lower prices compared to buying already mature plants, which are exponentially more expensive. And what is the opportunity cost when you purchase a plant? So sometimes the budget will go to a certain plant, and that means there are other things that you cannot spend on. So for example, equipment for your horticulture, and sometimes maybe even more plants, larger quantity of plants that you particularly like, in place of this one plant that might be more expensive. So what are the opportunity costs that are traded when you purchase that particular plant? And the last one is, do you actually like the plant or is it just the hype? So I noticed last year there were a lot of plants that were driven by hype. So one of them is the variegated Bilitiae. And 1 year later, I'm still not interested with this plant. So no variegated Bilitiae for me. Scindapsus, though, is another story. Last year I saw a lot of Scindapsus, but this year I think I might be interested with certain Scindapsus. So yeah, ask yourself, is it the hype or do you actually like the plant? It all boils down to personal preference. So I think in about 9 minutes, SMC side is going to open and I am ready for Horti Filipina 2026.